Because it does not recognize them, it assumes the softs are still active. Its transmission to the planet, I would assume, was some sort of a check beacon to see if it should continue its mission.
Jim, let's return to the ship and blast this place to destroy its weapons.
Doctor, this moon is a god to the people down there. If we destroy it, we will violate the Prime Directive.
Spock is right, Bones. Spock, what are the chances that we could decode the transmission and send a stop code to the base?
In trinary or decimal?
Spock!
1.327 million to 1.
Ein sehr langer
Provided
Dialog.
the archaeological studies about Luca's languages are correct. Our other option is to get into this base and see if we can bring the computers down.
Gut, das ist dann natürlich auch das, was wir machen müssen. Dann lassen wir Spock gleich mal dieses Feld
Spock, see what
benutzen.
you can do with that lock.
Und der Code für diese Tür ist 122. Warum? Keine Ahnung. Wie gesagt, wenn ihr es wisst, sagt mir Bescheid. Ich weiß es nicht.
Fascinating. If the Federation language studies were correct, the ideograph for the word scythe in the Lucas language is the 17th symbol in their alphabet that corresponds with 122 in base 3.
So, gut. Betreten wir den nächsten Raum.
Captain, we have a cure for the computer virus.
Well done, Uhura.
I modified Cutthroat-C to exclusively attack the Lucre virus. They annihilated each other, Captain.
Fascinating, Lieutenant.
The Klingons aren't going to be happy to learn that they helped us. How about the phasers and tractor beams?
We may get the tractor beams online in time, Captain. I'm afraid even the backup phaser transmission codes were affected. We could destroy some missiles manually, but if this complex decides to launch more than 10 missiles at a time...
Understood. The ball is in our court. We'll give it our best shot. Kirk out.
Jo, gut. Was haben wir denn hier Schickes? Eine Tür.
This door appears to be very
Da
solid.
wäre ich nie drauf gekommen bei der Tür. Was ist das?
This panel is designed to receive an ID card to make the door open. You are in a corridor that connects to 3 other chambers.
3? Okay. Na gut. Scannen wir mal das Feld hier.
This panel has a slot in it rather than a keypad. The slot bears traces of triphosphorus silver, and power is currently running to it. I am recording the pattern of this lock into my tricorder.
Jo.
This panel has a slot in
Haben wir
it
schon?
rather
Ja,
than a
ist gut,
keypad.
ist gut, ist gut.
Circuits and atmosphere.
Jo, wäre ich nie drauf gekommen. So, kann man hier unten auch lang dann? Nee, dann muss das hier 1, 2, 3 sein. Okay, gehen wir hier mal geradeaus durch.
Can't say I like the decor.
The Lucas did not leave behind many examples of their architecture.
I can see why.
Okay, was haben wir denn hier?
Captain, with the 3K AG content of the surface rocks and the tricorder scan of the pattern inside the lock, I believe the laser drill can be used to fashion the ID card needed to open the sealed door in the other chamber.
Das ist schon mal gut zu wissen.
A closed box sits on the floor. This room looks like it was once used for some type of mining operation.
Okay, was ist das?
This room looks like it was
Ja, ist
once...
okay. Dann machen wir das Box Wunderwaffe.
These are display panels for the laser drill. They are still functional. I used the keycard pattern scanned from the lock to program the drill. It should now be able to make a template of the keycard in the rock.
Okay, dann benutzen wir den nochmal.
Spock, why don't
Da.
you check out
Das
those
müsste
laser
der
drill
sein.
controls?
Welche Auswahl war denn das noch? 100 muss es gewesen sein. Ja, richtig. So, da platzieren wir jetzt dann die Steine drin. Und dann werden wir mit der Einstellung
Spock, why don't you check out those laser drill controls?
10, glaube ich. Mal. Ja, das war richtig. Gut. Nehmen wir das Ding. So, sehr gut. Und dann gucken wir mal, was in dieser Kiste drin liegt. Na, aha. Sieht jetzt noch nicht so interessant aus. Kann man da was nehmen? Ja, man kann was nehmen. Was haben wir da jetzt aufgehoben? Aha, Kabel. Na schön. Dann gehen wir mal hier wieder raus. Und werden mal mit Hilfe der Schlüsselkarte diesen nächsten Raum hier betreten. Menü, Schlüsselkarte. Mal gucken, ob das funktioniert. Ja, es funktioniert. Sehr gut. Und nichts hier rein. Okay.
This appears to be the brain of Psi. There are two identical but isolated computers that communicate with a third, which controls the launch of missiles.
Dann untersuchen wir diese Computer mal mit dem Tricorder.
This computer directly controls the missile launch system. There is no way to interface with it directly, but the other two computers are accessible.
Okay.
This computer is functional and performing an average 0.75 million operations per second.
Was ist mit dem?
This computer is functional and performing an average 1.2 million operations per second.
Können wir die auch so benutzen?
Mr. Spock, why don't you take a look at those computers?
Mal sehen, was dabei herauskommt.
Welcome to Psi Operations Center, Omega Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 1.31 hours adjusted.
Und der andere?
Mr. Spock, why don't you take a look at those computers?
Sehen wir mal, was der uns erzählt, ob der genauso eine lustige Stimme hat und ob die Werte übereinstimmen. Wäre ja interessant zu erfahren, nicht wahr?
Welcome to Psi Operations Center, Alpha Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 3.21 hours adjusted.
Captain, something is wrong with the computers. They may be twins, but they are not identical.
It appears they are out of sync, Captain. I have to assume the Alpha unit has a virus, which is using up an incredible amount of computing time.
They report different optimum launch times, which is right.
Given the elliptical orbit and the range at which they will pass Proxtree, the Omega unit is correct, but the window is very narrow. A variation of minutes will mean the missiles run out of fuel and fall harmlessly into the sun.
Can you reprogram the Lucas computer to give us that time, Mr. Spock?
Reprogramming an old alien computer is not simple, Captain. The odds against success are 10,221 to 1 against.
Too bad old Omega here couldn't just take a sick day and miss the firing.
Because the two machines are isolated, the virus did not spread from one to the other.
If we could only bridge
Ich
them.
wollte gerade sagen, dann müssen wir die irgendwie verbinden.
Missiles of death and destruction. The Lucre believed that you could never have enough of them.
Ja, wir müssen die Computer verbinden und wir haben ja dieses schicke Kabel eingesammelt. Gucken wir mal. Ja, und es scheint zu funktionieren. Dann müsste sich theoretisch der Virus von der Alpha Unit auf die Omega Unit übertragen. Prüfen wir das Ganze mal.
Mr. Spock, why don't you take a look at those computers?
Welcome to Psi Operations Center, Omega Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 1.54 hours adjusted.
The launched missiles will run out of fuel before they reach
sehr schön.
Proxtree. They will drift into the sun and burn up.
Sehr gut, dann ist die Mission erfüllt. Dann kann Scotty uns zurückbeamen.
Kirk to Enterprise, how are the transporters, Scotty?
They're operational again, Captain. We're ready to bring you back at any time.
Bring us home.
Das bin ich mal auf die Bewertung gespannt, was es da gibt. Ich hoffe ja wieder auf 100%, weil ich die Punkte brauche für den Raumkampf. Es ist ja schon ein bisschen einfacher geworden, aber ich hätte gerne noch mehr
Message from
Erfahrungspunkte.
Starfleet.
On screen, Lieutenant.
We have read your
96.
report on the problems at
Ja, schon wieder
Proxima
falsch
3
gemacht.
and evaluate your performance at
Ach Mann, ist das gemein.
96%. You and your crew received 3 commendation points. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed.
Es fehlt auch schon wieder ein Dialog, der irgendwie
Hard to believe
weggeleckt
that
ist.
Earth came so close to the brink itself.
Vulcans too. Both in the end looked into the abyss and came to the only logical conclusion. Logic?
Humans? I'm dreaming, Jen.
Sometimes it is harder and braver to make peace rather than war.
Sounds like emotion had its part to play in a positive sense, too.
I don't know about you, but I'd like to bid an emotional goodbye to Alpha Proxima myself.
Take us out of orbit, Mr. Sulu.
Jo, und mit diesem Abflug verabschiede ich mich von euch und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal, wenn es wieder das Let's Play Star Trek 25th Anniversary. Bis dann.